Honorable and respected ministers of government, Government of India and Government of Uttar Pradesh, other distinguished VIPs, dear guests, dear Sahaja Yogis and Sahaja Yoginis from all parts of the world, it's not an easy task to talk about a person who is wedded to you and with whom I have lived now for 56 years. But you'll kindly forgive me, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, if I do say something, forgetting for the moment that she is my wife, because she is Adi Shakti. And what I want to tell you is that in this world where we have all kinds of problems, dividing humanity, creating friction, creating problems, she has devoted her life completely to the creation of a new humanity, comprising men and women who are wedded to truth, spirituality, morality, compassion, and every other quality that you can think of. She has created that kind of human being. Now, I, for one, when she began it, I did not believe that it was possible to do so. But then you have this humanity sitting here, and it is her creation. She is perhaps the only one leader in the world who is bringing people together, who is getting people of all religions, all races, and this new humanity, honorable ministers, is represented here, sitting here. She has innumerable qualities. She has created a world. It's not easy to create a new world. But today I want to talk about one particular quality of hers, and that is the quality of compassion. And I'll mention to you two incidents. Once, many years ago, we were traveling by train from Mumbai or Bombay, as it was then called, and coming to New Delhi. And we were sitting comfortably in an air-conditioned compartment coupe. At about lunchtime, our train stopped at a particular junction, and lunch was brought in for us to be served in our compartment. And right at that moment came another train from a different direction to the same station, stopped. There was just a little distance between our train and the other train. And what we saw was this: from the dining car of that train, the cooks threw something, the remnants of food from people who had eaten earlier. And a few children, small children, they ran towards that in order to get a few morsels for themselves. Now, please believe me, ladies and gentlemen, she looked at that and she had tears in her eyes, and so had I. And she said, "Is this the fate of these children? They don't deserve this, they deserve something better." And she said, "It's impossible now for me to eat this food. Now, from now I determine that someday we will have an ashram for orphan children." She is an ocean of compassion. And I'll give you one more story, which is a favorite story of mine, and I hope the foreign Sahaja Yogis who have heard this umpteen times will forgive me. But I think this gathering should know. She began the transformation of human beings in 1970. And in early 1974, I got transferred to London to take up a job there. We went together. And we had taken up a house just outside London. I used to return in the evening. In the house, there was my wife, two helpers, and nobody else. So once, when I returned one evening, And the door was opened for me. I went in and went to the drawing room of the house, and there I saw a young, white young man sitting on the sofa and reading a newspaper. So I couldn't understand. I didn't know that someone was coming to the house, and I was a little puzzled. But what puzzled me even more was that I saw him wearing my clothes, kurta and pajama. I said there's something seriously wrong with me. So I went to my wife and said, now do I see what I see? Is it true? She said, what is it? I said, I see a young man sitting there reading a newspaper, and he looked at me as if I was a stranger coming to this house. Who is he? So then she narrated the story. She said she had gone that day to Piccadilly Circus in London, and there she saw a young man, totally derelict, lying on the floor and obviously in pain and no one to look after. So she got out of the car, went to him, asked him, what is the matter with you? And he said, I have nobody to take care of me and I am very sick. So she said, okay, would you like me to look after you? And he was amazed. He said, yes, certainly, if you could. So she said, okay, get up and come along, come to my car. And she brought that young man home. Now, he came to our house, but he had no clothes. He was dirty. He had to be bathed. So he was sent to the bathroom for a bath. And what else could she do except give my clothes to him? So that's how he was wearing my kurta and pajama. And he was sitting there. Now comes this real story. That young man stayed in our house for 2 to 3 months. She treated him with love and Sahaja Yoga and care of a mother, with total compassion, total love. And day by day, this young man flowered. He became a handsome young man, flowering. He forgot his drugs, he forgot his alcohol, and he became a wonderful, nice young human being. This is her compassion, creating a new life. He was a young man from Australia. He went back to his mother and father, and you can imagine how pleased they were. Now, these are 2 incidents I wanted to narrate to you. There are umpteen, so many of them, and I can go on for the whole night, but I won't, I assure you. Now, this ashram, to see little children without food, to see them in trouble, to find that there is no one to take care of them, I think this is the most cruel thing on earth. And she therefore decided that probably the first ashram of its kind that's built must be devoted to giving relief to these unfortunate, uncared for orphan children. And I tell you, there isn't anything more wonderful, more compassionate, more loving than giving relief and love to orphans. And I applaud her, and I applaud her heart. She has decided that this kind of misery should be obliterated, that there should be, sometimes there are orphans, but they should be cared for, they should be loved. And if you see the beautiful place, normally when you think of an orphanage, you think of some dark, dingy place with a little corner somewhere where 100 people are huddled in, but not her. She said it has to be the best, because these children who are unfortunate, they deserve to get the best. That's how we have this ashram here. And then about destitute women. I'm sorry to have to say there's such cruelty in our society sometimes towards women. They are thrown out of their houses. They were nowhere to go. Fortunately, not too many. But then there again, what do they do? Where do they go? But there is this wonderful lady, she says, no, these women also deserve a good life, a better life. They must be cared for. They must be given an opportunity to lead a proper, happy existence. And therefore, she chose these two categories of unfortunate people, orphans and destitute women. She'll put them here, and they will get the best that it is possible for money to buy for them. They will have good food, they will have education, they will have training, and they will become wonderful members of society. Now, there is another aspect of her creation. One aspect is sitting here, the global aspect, people who have been transformed, whom I call angels, who have no voice at all, who are people who are creating a new world. I have served the United Nations system. I wish the UN had done what she has done. But what UN could not achieve, what 150 governments could not achieve, she has achieved all by herself. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize to you for having talked so much about my wife, but she is your mother, and she is Adi Shakti. I was talking about Adi Shakti, not the other part. Thank you very much.